Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. We have made it not quite to the end of the week, but for us, it is the end of the week. It is our Friday Eve here at News in Motion. It is Thursday, March the 7th, 2024. We have Town Hall Thursday today. Uh, excuse me. This is your first time joining us here at News in Motion. First off, we just want to say thank you for tuning in with us. News in Motion is a news media outlet with relevant commentary and call to action. We could be found on LinkedIn, YouTube, or any audio or podcast platforms if you're joining us here live at 7:25 a.m. or if you're catching the replay, whether that be in the afternoon, the evening, or near the nighttime. We just want to say thank you for your support. Thank you for your love and support. Be sure to subscribe to our e-newsletter that can be found at www.gaildeli.com. And don't be afraid to email us with any questions that you might have, especially regarding voter registration. Our email will be on the ticker down below momentarily. But I see you, Miss Marian Jackson, tuning in through YouTube. Good morning to you, Miss Regina Shorts, and good morning to you, Miss Adrian. Just to shout out a few of our viewers. It's almost the weekend, y'all. Y'all got any plans? Y'all got any plans for the weekend? Like I said, today it's gonna be Town Hall Thursday. It's our little Friday Eve. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with a little bit news headlines. And thank you, Miss Adrian, for saying smash that like button, invite a friend, grab a paper, grab a pen. We'll be right back after this brief intro, y'all.
News in Motion.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, I see y'all up in here, Marian and Regina and Adrian. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I see my brother Liz Pryor popping in here. Deborah Sneed just popped up in here as well. Good morning to you all. Just good morning. A lot's going on, y'all. A lot is going on. So good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Thursday. And I have a little side funny for y'all. I could have promised y'all yesterday was Thursday, okay? So I kept telling y'all that the State of the Union was last night. I was thinking that yesterday was Thursday. What's up, Devontae? What's up, Judy Neal? So I kept saying that the State of the Union will be on tonight. I literally thought that yesterday was Thursday. It's the craziest thing. And I was like, what is happening? Twice my husband said, you do know today is Wednesday, right? I see you, Pastor Alex. Good morning to you. So yeah, we have Town Hall, and I still have the handout of what's going to be shared tonight. So we're going to still use that as our Town Hall. And if it gets real crazy, y'all may just see me on here tomorrow. Can't promise you, but just in case, if anything pops off, I will promise you I will jump in here tomorrow morning. I see you, Yvonne Gardner. Good morning. So y'all, today is Town Hall Thursday, and again, yesterday, I said it like 3 or 4 times. I literally thought yesterday was Thursday. So the State of the Union is tonight. It is tonight. You can start tuning in on some of the channels probably around 8 p.m. Eastern time to hear some of the commentary, but the actual State of the Union will begin tonight at 9 p.m. So again, my oversight yesterday, I literally thought yesterday was Thursday. Enough about that. But before we get to the town hall meeting today, I'm going to give you a few headlines. First off, y'all know Nikki Haley dropped out of the presidential race. And she says that she will not immediately endorse him, that it's now up to him to earn the votes of those in the party and beyond who did not support him. And she says, I hope he does those things. But then we also had Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell come out yesterday and endorsed him. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it, y'all. And if you have any suggestions for me to help me to connect those dots and understand, please let me know. Y'all, also in the headlines, we have the state of New York, especially New York City. NBC News is reporting, as well as ABC7 New York, that a series of recent high-profile crimes, they're calling them high-profile crimes in New York City subway system, has prompted the governor, Kathy Hochul, to send National Guard members into the underground networks. Like, what? Yes, y'all. She has ordered a force of nearly 1,000 people, comprising of 750 National Guard members, state police, and transit officers, to conduct bag checks and at some of the busiest stations. Now, she says, and I quote this, that she intends to rid the subway of people who commit crime and to protect all New Yorkers, whether you are a commuter or a transit worker. She continued that quote by saying, no one heading to their job or to visit family or to go to a doctor's appointment should worry that the person sitting next to them possess a deadly weapon. I was like, all right now. So that is happening. The mayor of New York is saying that's an overreach. That's too much. What's up, birthday girl, Latrice Jones? Y'all remember 2 days ago, Latrice turned a different age. And if you saw her post, y'all, she got this bomb ride that I can't wait for her to come blow the horn at my door and pick me up so we can go. Got to be a sunny day because of the color of the car. Oh, we're going to have too much fun. Y'all probably need to pray for us now that we don't get arrested or anything like that, because we're going to be buck wild, okay? Just letting y'all know. So again, happy birthday to you, Latrice. All right, y'all, this is called, and I'm going to use the nice word, mess around and find out, okay? Y'all, Morning Brew is spilling the tea, and I am sipping it this morning, y'all. Listen, OpenAI makes Elon Musk emails public. Yes, they did. Saying that it would seek a dismissal of Musk's lawsuits. They talked about how he tried to broker some things and how they exposed all of his emails. Mess around and find out. So y'all just watch that. So then he comes out later, because it came out in the email that he was meeting with Donald Trump. He says he's not supporting Trump or Biden. How about that? It's like, dude, sit down somewhere. And his stock is falling like, the shares are just falling. All right, y'all. They're asking now. I see you, Yvonne Gardner and Hester. I see you. Yes, girl. Mess around and find out. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. So that is what's happening with Elon Musk. That's just what's happening. So yeah, they exposed all of them. I got to go back here because there was some stuff I left out of here. Yeah, they published a blog containing all the emails. They've been posting the emails one by one. Did y'all know? This is the part that just cracks me up. Remember, I shared with you all, it was last year, 2023, where I shared with you all that he took out this full page ad going against AI. Y'all remember that? He wanted to sue them. Y'all remember that, right? Well, they put it all out there. And I was reading these things going, what? Y'all, did y'all know that he co-founded AI? Yeah, in 2018. I was like, no. So I went digging. Yvonne, you know me by now. I'm very nosy. I went digging. He did. I'm like, well, how are you going to put an ad? So y'all, this is called spinning and bluffing because you don't want anybody to know. Well, then you turn around and tick them off. You ticked them. You were on the board. You ticked them off in 2019 and 2020. Then you wanted to call them out. Now they publishing your emails. Yeah, they're publishing you. Yes, girl. He co-founded. It's like, what is going on? So, y'all, the post claims that Elon Musk actually wanted to shift OpenAI to a for-profit model with him as the CEO. So we mad at the CEO. He's mad at the real founder. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's the whole thing. So, he was going after Google. He was going after all these people. Well, he was at the root of all of this. Y'all, it's amazing of things that happen. It's amazing. But now here, going back to finances, let's connect these dots, y'all. The moment these were made public yesterday, his shares of the Tesla stock went from 182, like it's now down under 173. I'm like, dude. So it's all interesting to see how things work. It's all very interesting. It's just interesting. So y'all, that's just a couple of the quick headlines before I get into today's town hall meeting. So what to expect? And again, for those of you who are just tuning in, I literally thought yesterday was Thursday. Yeah. So I was like, watch the State of the Union. Well, that's tonight. Okay, 9 Eastern. They'll probably start having their commentary, their table conversations right about 8 o'clock. But before I get to that, so I don't forget, y'all, already people are looking for poll workers, for people to sign up to work the election polls. They're searching now. They want to do the training. You can sign up from Isaiah, what is it? Our polling piece, powerthepolls.org. You can sign up /NewsInMotion and get the training that you need. Powerthepolls.org, that /NewsInMotion. Sign up and get whatever you need. There's stipends that are available, but again, they're being very clear on the front end. If there are not enough workers at these polling locations, they will begin closing locations. And as we all know, they will close the locations in the marginalized communities first. So y'all, let us not let that happen. So if you have that time, if you have the capacity, if you have the patience to be able to do this, it's a long day. Kim Edmondson, Adrian, jump in here. Let us know. It's a long day. I believe it starts something like at 6 a.m. Maybe you have to be there before that, and you're there way after the polls close in many instances. So it's a long day. We're not talking 5 hours, and we're not talking 8 hours. We're not even talking 12 hours. I believe the day is longer than that. So if you have that capacity and you want to do your civic duty, civic engagement, here's an opportunity for you to do that. So I wanted to put that out there as well. All right, y'all. So the State of the Union. First off, I promise y'all this had to be a mistake. And I wanted to get rid of it. And I sent an email back and I said, I think y'all sent me this by mistake. I said, no. We wanted to do this year. Now, I'm not going to read y'all this because I probably shouldn't. But y'all, they sent me the actual motorcade and the time that they're leaving and all that. I'm like, I don't want all that. Y'all can spare me those details. But I will tell you this. At 9 a.m. this morning, the president will receive a presidential daily briefing. And at 10 a.m., there will be an in-town pool call time, which I can go to because I have the credentials to go to these things. And then at 8:25 p.m. is when I can share this part with you, but I ain't sharing the rest of it, where the president, the first lady, and the second gentleman will depart for the White House. So they will depart. I won't tell you the route. I won't tell you anything like that, but they will depart from the White House from the Palm Room doors. I don't even know where those are located, but the Madam Vice President will already be in the room. So just to that, and then everything should be done about 11 p.m. So there's that. I don't know why I was like, I don't want that. So then when this can give you an idea, and these invitations went out at the last minute. This is the guest list of First Lady or Dr. what I'd rather call her, Dr. Jill Biden in her box, her area. So she will have, of course, they're going to attack IVF. They're going to attack that. So, of course, they have someone in the box that's going to represent IVF along with her husband and children. Adrian says training sessions are mandatory and paid for in Ohio. So if you're in Ohio, training sessions are mandatory and paid for. Thank you for that. We're talking about election workers. And then Kim Edmondson says you have to be there at 5:30 a.m. and stay until everything is balanced after the polls close at 7:30. And again, that's Ohio. And Adrian says setup is usually Monday evening. So y'all just sign up if this is you to do that. So thank you for that, ladies. And then we will have a director of patient navigation for the Atrium Health. Y'all, health and cancer is going to be huge in the speech tonight. Hold on, we're going to get to the town hall. Don't forget, y'all, in the town hall meeting, the moment you stop asking questions, the town hall is over. We also will have someone from Texas talking about gun violence and prevention. Y'all, her box is stacked, which means everybody who's in that box, you know he's going to be talking about it. And then I have the transcript as well, but we won't go there. They're going to be hitting hard on women's bodies, women's health, and abortion. They're going to be hitting hard on the United Brotherhood of Carpenters. So they have the UAW. They have Local 432 from Pittsburgh. They have that stack. Remember, the UAW has backed him already, has endorsed him. They will have the president of the UAW. That's the United Auto Workers. They will also have American singer and civil rights advocate who was a Bloody Sunday foot soldier in Selma, Alabama. That's Betty Mae Fikes. She will be in the box. So, you know, he's going to be talking about social justice. He's going to be talking about discrimination. He's going to be talking about staying woke. And that word is in there. I was like, he's saying that. Like, don't do it unless you know how to deliver it. He will also have talk about rare blood cancer and diabetic, because that person's going to be in the box. He will also have American workforce hubs. They will be in the box, and they're going to be talking about CHIPS. CHIPS is going to be the main attraction. Let me tell you, CHIPS is going to be the main attraction. He's also going to have a middle school teacher. He's going to have the first ever African-American woman electric vehicle charging manufacturing company in the United States. That's Natalie King. Hello, somebody. We need to meet at Natalie King. Yeah, it's just really interesting. Sidebar here. When I was looking at her list of invites to her box, I thought, man, I need to go back and meet some of these people. Y'all, some of these individuals, when you read their entire piece, and this will be in the Friday rundown if you don't find it somewhere else, so you'll get this if you have that. You can sign up for the Friday rundown. It's a free e-newsletter by going to gaildeli.com. A pop-up box will appear. Just complete your information. Prime Minister of Sweden will be there. He will have Governor Stephen Rowe. Well, she will have Governor Stephen Rowe Lewis from Arizona. I don't know what that is. Dealing with the Indian community. Okay. There'll be a U.S. commander there in her box. Lifeline will be in her box. People from Hawaii will be in her box. Women's health. I told y'all that's going to be in her box. She will also have a plumbing company. Wife of a plumber will be in the box. And then military spouse. We should have known all those people will be in her box. So that's who's stacking up her box. So you know, of course, that's going to be a part of the conversation. Well, here's one of the things they put out yesterday that I want to share with you. We're going to get deep into this town hall meeting. President Biden is fighting to reduce the deficit, cut taxes for working families, and investment in America by making big corporations and the wealthy pay their fair share. Y'all, taxes is all in this thing, okay? He's going for 100%. And then we also have another place. He's talking about taking action to lower costs for families and to fight corporate ripoffs. He ain't playing. Y'all, he's talking about lowering costs for working families, standing up to consumers against shrinkflation. They made that word up. Countering middleman who raises prescription drug prices, promoting competition in healthcare, working with companies to provide millions of consumers with full price up front. Those who want their full price up front. He's also going to be dealing with these junk fees. Okay, he's going for these junk fees. And let me give you this side note to these junk fees, because I went looking. I'm a nosy reporter. Okay, diversity and human rights hitting hard in the box, all the way live, Adrian, all the way live. So y'all get this, and this came out. This started building earlier this year when he was talking about fees with flights. So y'all, this came out in January. It talks about flyers, frequent flyers. And y'all know you normally have one personal item in your carry-on. That's it. Like if you have a computer case, that case has to be in a backpack or whatever. You cannot have all these different things. Well, women are now wearing fanny packs, right, as their purse. But then they're carrying a purse. They're carrying a backpack or whatever, and they're also having their carry-on. They're like, no. So what they're doing, because that's a small little piece, it's on your body, and the women are saying, this is part of my clothing. What they're doing, though, they're now charging for this. So like Southwest Airline, Delta did this, y'all. Delta now has changed their baggage fee up by $5, and they're trying to find loopholes into this executive order. American Airlines has increased by $10. Overweight bags are now anywhere from $100 to $300. It's like, where are these numbers coming from? United, JetBlue, and Alaskan Airlines has also issued an increase to existing baggage fees. Some are trying to charge for your personal item to get on. That's Spirit. Let's just be honest who that is. That's Spirit. And they're trying to give a higher price for that. Southwest started making passengers condense their belongings, including common items like the fanny pack and shopping bags, into one carry-on. Now, here's the other thing that they're checking people on, y'all. This is in the airlines. They're trying to find a way to recoup the other money, and that is pillows and blankets. They want to charge you for bringing those on. I'm like, what? Like even the neck pillows. They're calling those violations of the 2-bag rule. And this is all coming out of Wall Street Journal, who did a deep dive into all this information. So Delta, United, and American customers have also recently had to squeeze small items into larger bags, and they would even keep them unzipped to try to get them through to get onto the plane. Now, they're also saying once they get on the plane, if they see you unpack all of it, they still want to charge you. I'm like, what are you going to do? Stop in the middle of the air and say, get off? Like, you depart here? Like, what are you going to do? And how are you going to really hold that? So, y'all, all of this is coming up there. Yes, Dr. Antoinette, for a neck pillow. So, y'all be mindful of that. So, he's pushed this out here about these junk fees. And now companies, especially airlines, are trying to find another way to tack on that fee because they're saying they're losing money. So then he's also talking about the Education Save Plan. He's talking about the forgiveness of $138 billion. But he's also, y'all, and there's some more he's talking about tonight. But he's also, y'all, these allergies with the rain and all that. He's also trying to deal with his age. He's dealing with the retirement age of people. He's dealing with emotions and mental stability. So you're going to hear a lot about heavy on his health and that he's capable of doing this job the rest of this year and for the next 4 years. Now, this is what there's some debate on some people in his speech writing and all this. And when you tune into the live press rooms, you hear a lot of different things that are going on. He's going to be weaving that in, like, how's that for my memory? He's going to be doing things like that. So that's going to be out there. Healthcare benefits are going to be out there. But he's also going to weave in, I'm like, oh, please be careful when you weave this in. He's also going to weave in, age should not determine death, which there's some truth to that. He's going to he's going to find a way to weave in that you could be 30 and this happens to your health or mental or whatever. I'm like, that's a little touchy. You might want to be careful with that one because I don't know how you're going to do that and make it not appear as if you're trying to make an excuse. So I hope his messaging people and his speech writers and all that think about that. And my question is, who's writing this? Is this from a young perspective or older perspective, or do you have someone who's older to be able to read what has been written to give that other side as well? Shirley Nicholson said, get a blow up pillow. You're also going like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who y'all know is a progressive in New York and a Democrat, saying she wants him to hit on Gaza. Now, there's no ceasefire up to this point. There's some chatter that he's been waiting to get some sort of feedback to be able to insert that into this speech, but I don't think that's going to happen as well. So he's going to have to address it. He's going to have to address the uncommitted people that are out there. He's going to have to send a message to say, y'all, I'm hearing you, I see this, and this is how this is going to break out. This is how it's going to work down. He's going to really key in on civil rights tonight as well. He's going to key in on young people. He's going to let y'all know you got your loans forgiven. He cannot say you better vote for me, but he's going to find a way to put that in there. This is like the 5-month mark of the war, without any sort of ceasefire on the horizon. There's been conversation, but nothing has come out of this. So let's jump in. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? We got about 10 minutes or so. So let's jump in. So some things that we should look for: economic recovery, COVID-19 response, climate change and sustainability. And why I say the COVID-19 response, because I'm sure he's going to talk about how CDC has now relaxed all the rules. Social justice and equity, foreign policy and national security. You know they're going to talk about that border. That's going to be out there. Infrastructure and transportation, healthcare reform, education and workforce development, immigration reform, the border, bipartisanship and unity, innovation and technology. He's going to really key in on the semiconductors and the chips, racial reconciliation. So with those things that I just put out there, and as Adrian stated earlier in the chat, is can you pull that one back up? Diversity and human rights are hitting hard in the box. With that information, let's open up the town hall meeting. What do you want to hear, and why do you want to hear it? What do you want to hear tonight from the President of the United States, and why do you want to hear it? What do you want to hear, and why do you want to hear it? All right. Again, what do you want to hear, and why do you want to hear it? Good morning, Kenny Stanley. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Again, I gave y'all a rundown of what's going to be in the State of the Union speech tonight. And I'm going to make this suggestion. See if you can gather some people, even if you're on a conference call or Zoom or something, and have conversation during the speech, or typing up things during the speech. I do that. I'm trying to get my daughter and some of her friends to join me tonight just to have conversation, because that can help me address some of the questions for them as to why and why he's a good candidate or not a good candidate to continue this run for office. So come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on in here. Here's some questions that I have when I'm looking at this State of the Union. Okay, Kim Edmondson says, I want him to brag on all the things they've done. Messaging will be key. Yes, messaging will be key. We need to start saying, this administration has done this. This administration has completed this. This administration, because even when I look at forgiving nearly $138 billion in student loan debt for nearly 3.9 million Americans through various actions, and again, this is in the speech, I want to say, okay, but you got to make that. You got to put that in a place where people can touch it and feel it and relate to and understand it. You also have to encourage people who have not completed it and they want to complain about it as to why they should complete this. We also need to talk about, when it comes to students, these internship programs and what's available for them, and that they're paid internship. And we shared it here on News in Motion yesterday. The applications open on Monday. And again, if you get the Friday rundown, we're putting it in there. So here's a question that I had looking at all this. What specific policies or initiatives should the president prioritize right now that you have 5 months to get these up and running and going, and having key civilians, citizens, everyday citizens playing a key role in these initiatives. And tie that to economic challenges as well as economic successes, and how to pull that out. Latrice Jones says, I want to hear about senior advocacy, because having firsthand experience, technology is a major barrier to services, and we need a bridge for those who receive government services. Yes, amen. You're absolutely correct. And y'all, if you missed the podcast where Latrice was talking about some of this, check it out. It's still up there, although we don't do it anymore on Fridays. Politics and Prose. Just look for it, download it. I believe it was like early September where you will find that. But that's a great question. Now, here's the thing. I also, thank you, Latrice, for saying that. He should not, I'm 81. So he should not sidestep that conversation and say, as someone who's 81 years old, here are some of the things that we need as seniors. Here are some ways that you can come walk alongside me and others and partner with us to do X, Y, Z. He could really spin that to the positive if he's not afraid to go there. And I hope his speech writers and his messaging people will allow him to go there. Let him go off script just for a moment. Now, I also, because I've been watching him lately, it's like, y'all got to keep this to 30 minutes so that he can get through this. Like, he can't make a gaffe tonight. He can't mess up tonight. He cannot call the wrong name tonight. He can't do any of those things. I'm like, the pressure's probably on homie tonight. Marianne says he may have done a lot, but still waiting for him to sign the voting rights bill. Yeah, but let me say this about that. In the current House, it will be dead on arrival, which means he would have to do an executive order, and he's trying real hard not to do that. But I hear you, and I cannot say I disagree with you at all, but it's how would he do that? But it's also key, and let's go back to what I shared with you all, which will be in the Friday rundown this week, what I shared with you all from the Supreme Court ruling. They moved certain things back to Congress, which means voting for our congressional leaders are going to be key in this November 5th election. Okay, so I want to put that out there. Latrice Jones said, exactly, girl, we on the same page. So another question, come on, y'all, keep talking to me. We got about 5 more minutes. My thing is, he has to address this all of a sudden shift from COVID-19. He's going to have to address the health. He's going to have to address disease X that's coming out of the World Health Organization. And it's called disease X. Y'all can Google it. He's going to have to address that. And are these the same thing, or is this now a new thing? Like, what is it? Because people are saying they have a coughing fit for 90 days. I was one of those people. Shirley Nicholson says, I want to hear about gun laws since it was another mass shooting yesterday. And he's going to touch on that. And I can't think of Every Town is an organization who has been putting out some key social media pieces. And don't forget, y'all, if you have the Friday rundown, you're going to get a free resource tomorrow that costs some money, but we have an investor who has asked me to make sure anybody who gets the Friday rundown will get this free. So you're going to get this free tomorrow. That's going to have a lot of the information and ways and how you can have conversations, do social media posts, and etc. Kim Edmondson says, I think people are more concerned about their pockets than their health. But, I don't disagree with you. But Kim, let's also say this. Their health challenges is also hitting their pockets. Does that make sense? So you cannot, yes, they need to hear about both, but people want to separate them, but you really cannot separate the two. Latrice Jones says, where is all the money that was thrown about during the pandemic? Where is it going now? Great question. And how many people didn't pay back the PPP money because it was forgiven, even those in the congressional chambers? And what happened to money that you said you were still holding on to that you didn't give away? Where's that money? Another, what actions can the president propose to address climate change and promote sustainability in this State of the Union address? He's going to have to address that head on as well. Yes, messaging is key. We got to finally put to rest this immigration reform and border. Let's deal with it. I don't care what the other guy is running on. We now know he's the nominee, although he still doesn't have the delegates yet. But it's a clear path for him to get it. The same with President Biden. He doesn't have all the delegates yet, but there's a clear path for him to get them. So knowing that the former guy wants to run on immigration reform and the border, the Democrats need to take control, and they need to put together their narrative and their messaging to shut all that down. That's another place, Marion, where he could really sign an executive order and deal with that and go back to the initial border policy that the Senate had already approved. But then we had Speaker Johnson saying it's dead on arrival, and it was a bipartisan piece. We have to talk about that. Regina says, I want to hear about homelessness prevention. Okay. And Marion says, there are some people being investigated for PPP fraud, and there are. And then different strategies, education reform. We can go on and on and on. But I want to also move to this part. Just to some things I was pulling together. Again, I've already talked about his age and experience. He has to drill that in. He cannot be afraid behind that. Get me up in the White House. Dr. Antoinette, can you get me up in the White House so we can talk about this? So I can go, let's change some of this stuff on this speech, and this is how you're going to present it, and this is how you're going to stand on it. And here's a question to all of you who are tuning into this town hall. Does the candidate's age impact their ability to effectively lead the country? She said, done, sis. Thank you, girl. Does it impact? Does that matter for you? Yes, I'm talking about right now. We can't get anybody young in here at the moment. So right now, this is who we have. This is our reality. Should it impact, and does it impact? Did y'all listen to the speech from the former guy the other day? I still don't know what he said. He couldn't remember he couldn't remember names. He couldn't remember anything. He even said, glad to see you, Dad. I thought, was his dad like, I'm missing something. So we have two old guys, 77 and 81. We have two old white guys, okay? Gail would have Biden standing on. Listen, I would be in that room. My husband laughs at me because he says, you really would. It is sad that people who can make a difference aren't known or recognized anywhere. And it's like, if we would just open it up and get out of our box, there's probably thousands of people who could go in there and get all this straight. Like, shut all that down. And sometimes, I'm going to make a statement that some of you may not like me for, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes highly educated people, meaning all the degrees, I got a PhD, a doctorate, a this, that, and the other, could get in the way of people. Everyday people are sitting back watching it because their book smarts is taking over just common sense. And it's good to have both, the street, the common sense, as well, actually three of them, street, common sense, and book smarts, and pull it all together. Because I say, we ain't rolling like that. This is what your everyday people need to hear. And he needs some people that look like us, not in these $1 million homes and driving these hundreds of $1,000s cars, but these everyday people. So this is what we want to hear. Get you some millennials on there who attended an HBCU, but they still street smart. That's who he needs around him at this time to really get to that group of people. He needs some advisors like me to speak some of that to him, to speak some of that to him. Dr. Antoinette says, are we supposed to pretend the former guy is middle-aged or young? Well, there's that. We need to touch on this. So how does the candidate's experience and track record balance with their age? Again, y'all, there's a balancing act that needs to happen. What's up, Stephanie? Stephanie said, you need to be in his camp. Look, they won't hire me. I keep trying, but they won't. Are there specific concerns or advantages associated with having a younger or older candidate? These are the things we need to be discussing. I would roll up. True point. This is me. I thought about this. And with his age, I would roll up on them and say, yes, I'm 81. Sure am. I'm still doing this, and this. I can speak this. I understand this. My experience gives me this. I'm 81. One day you're going to be 81 as well if you make it that far. And what do you expect to be doing? You're going to be sitting at home eating bonbons with a blanket around you? What are you going to be doing? Or are you going to be doing what you love, making sure you're helping the American people? Although it isn't a sound thing, but can be, his messenger hit that President Biden doesn't need to have AI generated people for ads. I so agree with that. I so agree with that. So all of that is here. All of that's here. Isn't that what Kamala is there for? And she has to tap in. Now, she was at a big event at Howard University. I believe it was this past weekend. Dr. Antoinette, correct me if I'm wrong. And all the stars were there. You know, there's a lot of Black movie stars, celebrity people who graduated from Howard University. And I thought, man, y'all missed an opportunity to go to another dimension to talk about what that administration is doing. Y'all are partying, and that was all cool. But within the partying, what else were you communicating with? You had a captured audience. You had the different world cast. They're on tour right now, and people talk about why they went to HBCUs because of that show, or their parents, talked about HBCUs or went to HBCUs because of the show. That's a captivated audience to talk about what's happening and how they can be involved and how they should be voting. Devontae says, look, Obama was younger. We may not have agreed on everything, but he was able to relate and be out there with the people. Yes. And Marion Jackson says, while the former guy is talking about Biden's cognitive abilities, we need to look at his. That too. So y'all saw so much. Okay, to wrap this up, family and office dynamics, ethics and nepotism, because I thought about this. Is it ethical? Because if the other guy gets back in, is it ethical? And I don't think it is for the presidential candidate to employ their children or other family members in official capacities. What measures should be in place before that happens to prevent nepotism and ensure transparency in hiring practices? And how does a candidate's family involvement impact perceptions? All of that. Health and fitness for the office, leadership and decision making, public perception and trust. All of that is a part of it. All of it. And I hate that we only have like 10 minutes today to do that. But y'all, these are things we should look for tonight. And again, if something really, it has to be serious. So don't just think I'm coming on tomorrow. But if something really comes across tonight that I'm like, hey, I need to go on News in Motion tomorrow, I will come on tomorrow morning. If you don't see me at 7:25, then we're not on. All right, y'all, for the inspirational message, I'm in Judges 11. If you're new to the to News in Motion, yeah, we talk Bible when it gets to the inspirational messages most times. So Judges 11, there's Jephthah, who was kicked out of his home by his stepbrothers. Okay. Then they realized that they needed him. And I thought about this, and my husband did a teaching on this last night. And because I never knew this story until last night. And I thought about this. I said, wow, how many things are we kicked out of? Whether it's friendship groups, our work environment, whatever it is, you fill in the blank. And somebody has driven us away from it, put us out of it. And then later they're like, oh, well, maybe we do need them. Because we were the glue that held everything together, or we were that voice of reason, or there were leadership qualities, and people don't recognize that. So he was driven, and people started following him. Other people started following him, and he's out there. He's just out there. So as he's growing, he's being prepared, and God is using him, you could also see that life, all of our lives, my husband used these words last night. He said, life is a contradiction. We can be good and things can be going well on one side, but on the other side, we could be having some challenges and we're wrestling with some things. Life is a contradiction. It's made up of contradictions. We can be high one day, low the next, high 1 hour and low the next. And we can face challenges all the time. Well, what really jumped out at all of this with me in this, and read Judges chapter 11, verses 1 through 11, and then also read Judges 11, verses 30 through 35. 30 through 35 made me go, what? So he bartered with God. And I thought, man, how many times do we barter with God? We're always bartering. We're always saying, God, if you do this for me, I promise you I'm going to do this. Or God, if you just get me out of this one thing, I promise you. And we break those promises all the time. My husband said something that was key last night. He says, we barter with God like we're on his level. Like we can actually go to the table and negotiate with God. He goes, that's ridiculous. And so Jephthah bartered with God, and he said, the first person out of that door, I'm a sacrifice. His daughter came, seeing her daddy, came busting out the door, singing and dancing. And he said, why? Like, I'd have messed up. Now, it never says how he sacrificed his daughter, what he did, but we all know the story about sacrifice in the Old Testament, especially in the book of Judges. The question is, did he keep that promise to God? We don't know. All we do know, if you flip over to Hebrews 11 about the faith, he's considered one of the people of faith. So that kind of says, again, we don't know, but from my interpretation, if he was faithful and he went that way, then he must have began the process just like Abraham did with Isaac, and we don't know if there was a ram in the bush for his daughter or not, or what actually happened. That story is never completed there. But here's my question to all of you. How will you complete your story today? What does that look like today? And we all have a story. But here's where I'm pleading with all of you. Stop bartering with God. That's not necessary. You don't have to barter. That is not necessary. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. So what's your story? What's that dream or desire that you have? What does that look like for you? Yeah, life is a contradiction. I had to wrestle with that yesterday. Life is a contradiction. Days were up, days were down. But I used to barter with God. Back in the day, I'd be like, God, if you just help me with this. I no longer do that. And I thought to myself last night, when did that stop and why did I stop doing that? What happened? Or what light bulb went off to say, why am I sitting here trying to negotiate with God? I don't have to do that. Because he's already going to do what he's already going to do. Yes, Lori, what's my story? Yes, what's my story? Y'all, I want us to dig deep this week. We're still in the month of Lent. Guess we got 3 more weeks to go. We're still in this Lenten season. What's your story? I want you to really unpack that for yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself. Another thing I want to share with all of you today, stop competing with folks. It's not necessary. Most people have no idea you're competing with them in the first place. And all you're doing is expending energy that you don't need to expend. You don't need to exhaust yourself doing something that no one's really paying attention to the fact that you're competing with them in the first place. Why are you doing that? Stop sitting back hearing somebody saying, oh, they're going to do X, Y, Z. You're like, oh, I'm going to do that too. Do you have the capacity to do that? Or are you just trying to do something? And be careful with things like that. God knows the plans he has for you. Plans to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future, not plans for destruction. No, not at all. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. We are uniquely designed in such a season and for such a time as this. Hold on to those things. Hold on to those things. What are you doing? What are you doing? And here's the other thing. We always say, and I've said this myself, I'm not for everyone. Well, everybody's not for you either. Seriously. It goes both ways when we look at this. Pastor Alex says, I think that bartering is because we don't think God will do it. Will do what he says. I thought it was popping up. To do what he said, he has said what he will do. Yeah, I think we do barter. I believe that we are on this bartering thing, and we must stop. Because here's the thing, are we prepared for what's to come and what he's going to do? Absolutely, you're probably the only one competing. Just do you what you're called to do. What you're called to do. There's a lot that we can unpack here, y'all. There's a lot. And I would love to do a deep dive, but we can't today. Again, this is going to be in the Friday rundown. So make sure you sign up for that. Just go to gaildudley.com. It's several pages. It's going to help you navigate this, help you have conversations with other people. It's going to do a lot for you. Just sign up. You can unsubscribe at any time. But sign up. We're always giving away some great things. All right, y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, we'll be back on Tuesday unless something really pops off tonight at the State of the Union. We'll pop on here tomorrow. We're not promising you that. It has to be something that's necessary that we do. But stay well, everyone. And remember to make some bold moves. We're out.
NewsInMotion.